Divided. One can be honest, but not be integrity, that is, one can be divided in what he does, pleasing one but not another. Lie to your family, but be honest at work. When we lack integrity, we lose the trust of people, but when we have integrity, we gain the trust of God. Job 2:3. Have you stopped to think about my servant Job? The Lord asked him again. There is no one on earth like him. He is an upright and blameless man, who honors me and lives apart from evil. And although you incited me against him to ruin him for no reason, he still holds firm to his integrity. 427. Shortly after Satan had subjected him to harsh treatment, God raised up Job's integrity. He might not be perfect, but if he was integrity, he had no bends. The question for us is, does God see us? What will God say about us when he sees us? And this question is very important, because our integrity is not measured based on our good works or large number of activities in the name of God, or on behalf of others, but rather who we are and what we do when no one but God is watching us. It is in moments of loneliness, when we are at work and there are no other Christians with us, when our family is not watching us, when we face temptations, or when there is no one who knows us, that our integrity is tested. Daniel 1:8-16. We meet a man who faced a terrible situation, probably more difficult than facing illness or even death. King Nebuchadnezzar, who ruled Babylon at that time and had devastated Israel, captured many young men to serve as eunuchs in his palace. The eunuchs were people who had mostly been castrated so that they would not be tempted and get involved with the women of the palace. So we meet a young man who had been taken prisoner, forced to learn a strange language, to leave his life, his family, his home, his social position to be a slave. This young man had everything in his favor to deny his faith in God and reveal himself to him, since he was going through a terrible situation. However, here we can find a first lesson for us. 1. Integrity does not depend on circumstances. The circumstances we face cannot define our character or our way of facing situations. Being people of integrity implies that despite how difficult or contradictory we are facing, we will never forget our convictions, we will not betray ourselves, since when we break our word, when we deceive others, we are really deceiving ourselves, and we disrespect each other with everything we do. Integrity is not compromised, it must be affirmed deep in our hearts. For Daniel there were no options to deny his faith or to compromise with his convictions. His essence, his nature was affirmed in God, and he would not betray him for anything in the world. 428. Daniel makes the decision not to contaminate himself with royal food. Daniel made the decision not to sell his convictions. 2. Let's not sell our integrity. At a very formal party, everyone in suits, the house very elegant, everyone dressed very well, a man approaches a very pretty woman and says very discreetly, she would sleep with me for $1 million. The woman, with a smile, responds, I'll think about it. A few hours later at the same party, the same man approaches the woman again and says, will you sleep with me for $10? She, indignant, responds with anger, what do you think I am? The man tells him, we have already established what you are, we are negotiating the price, nothing more. What is our price? If someone offered you power, wealth, comfort or fame, you would be able to sell yourself. Or if someone offered to pay our debts or pay for the rent on our house, would we be able to sell our convictions? Someone once said, everyone has their price, and this is true, except that our price as Christians has already been paid, and not by us, but by God, so that we could stop being who we were and start again. For many years of my life I lived seeking to please people, seeking their approval. I even went so far as to go beyond my own conscience, leaving aside my personal convictions. I let myself be carried away by what others said or did for the sole purpose of being accepted. When I look back on all of that, I feel so grateful that God allowed me to feel value for my life again. Too many people today get carried away by what people like and compromise their principles with the sole objective of being accepted and not rejected. How many times have we stopped being ourselves to please someone else? Even in marriage, many husbands or wives end up doing what their partners tell them, not because they believe it is right, but because they want to avoid a conflict, or do not want to be offended. Thousands of young adolescents end up doing what they don't want just to be accepted in some group or to not be called cowards. We cannot do wrong just to please another. Even spiritually speaking, there are those who follow someone even though that person may be wrong, just because they seem humble. However, courage is measured by the difficult decisions we make, even when this means saying no to the one we love. 429. 3. Let yourself be influenced by God. There is a proverb that says, "He who walks with wise men becomes wise." The more time we spend with God, the more of his mind and his heart we will have in us. After the king had a dream that no one could interpret, Daniel visited him, and the king, who did not believe in God but had many gods, praised the Lord and rewarded Daniel. Daniel 2:47-48. And he said to him, "Your God is the God of gods and the ruler of kings. Your God reveals all mysteries, because you were able to reveal this mysterious dream to me." 48. Then the king placed Daniel in a prominent position and showered him with gifts, making him governor of the entire province of Babylon and chief of all its wise men. Integrity brings many blessings to our lives. Let yourself be influenced by God. 4. Practice integrity daily. What do the people who know us best say about us? Our wives, our co-workers, our university colleagues, our parents, siblings, our children. How they see our integrity, they can say about us what they see us every day of the week. Would our wife or our children define us as someone who is whole, true, trustworthy? Because it is easy to be a person of conviction and righteousness on Sunday in church. But when the brothers are not with us, but rather it is our boss watching us or our colleagues evaluating us, that's where we show who we really are. It is at home, at university or at work where others constantly see us and can attest to whether we behave the same every day as we did on Sunday. Daniel was tested in search of something that could compromise him. However, they found a surprise. Daniel 6:5. Therefore they concluded, "We will never find anything to accuse Daniel of, except something related to the law of his God." Daniel was a man who practiced righteousness, because he sought to please God and not to the people. Practicing integrity and righteousness makes us trustworthy people. Every day our children need to see real examples of integrity, because in the places where they often see duplicity, lies. In our 430 homes it should not be like that. We need to be trustworthy people, especially for our families. They